March 15th, it is actually the early morning. It is 12:03 on March 16th. But my name is Bill McCamley. I am a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla with your New Mexico legislative update for the day. Got about 6 things I wanted to go through. We just had 2 very emotional debates on the floor today. The first was this afternoon. It was to disallow people who have restraining orders because of domestic violence situations from possessing firearms. There's a lot of data out there showing that when you are in a domestic violence situation and you have a firearm, the chances of a serious crime happening for most of the time the women in that situation becomes a lot more real. And so this was a very big debate. There's a lot of very passionate gun advocates in the legislature and in the community as a whole, but there's also a lot of people that argued very strongly that this needs to be a limit and that trying to protect a lot of times women in these situations is very important. So that did pass the House floor today and goes to the Senate. The other one that was passed just happened a little while ago, actually bans conversion therapy, which is a process by which folks who believe that being gay is a choice use a lot of times with their children to try to convert them into being straight. And I am very, very, very passionate about this subject because of some personal interactions I've had and some of the folks that I know in my community, and I stood up and supported the bill very strongly after 2.5 hours of debate, and I'm very happy to say that this bill passed the House and the Senate and is going to the governor, and I sincerely hope she signs it. The Senate today passed a constitutional amendment establishing an independent ethics commission, which is something that many people in the legislature have been working on for years. It's something I've supported since 2006 and 2007 when I was a county commissioner down in Doña Ana County. And though there are some last-minute issues regarding transparency that we may have to work out, this may be the year that goes on the ballot as a constitutional amendment for you to decide whether you want us to be kept a little bit accountable by an independent ethics commission. Also, the Senate passed a constitutional amendment today not a constitutional amendment, a House joint resolution withdrawing our support for constitutional convention at the federal level. For those of you that watch these videos regularly, you know that New Mexico is part of a group of states that have called for a convention of states that would have the possibility of completely rewriting the Constitution of the United States. And this is problematic in a lot of different ways, but New Mexico has now withdrawn itself from that list of states, and I think that that's a good thing because the long-term possibilities of a redrawing of the Constitution might lead to the breakup of the United States, and I really don't want to see that happen. Work on a budget and tax package continues. We're trying to figure out a way to get the revenue that we need to fund a budget that doesn't cut schools. And that's very difficult with a governor who has basically said she won't fund any revenue sources. And so we're really trying to work on some last minute plans that might be able to get us there. And that brings us to the final point. The governor today vetoed a bunch more bills that doesn't seem to have a lot of reason. She's not given any messages with reasons for her vetoes. There's speculation here that she could be very angry that the Senate has not approved her regents. There's speculation she could be angry because the Senate voted to override one of her vetoes a couple days ago. But one of the bills that got vetoed today dealt with putting broadband into the language for local cities and counties to be able to bond against that. I mean, it passed 67-0 out of the House, had full support of the Senate, and so these kind of vetoes are very frustrating for many of us who've worked on just good government policy, whether you're Democrat or Republican, and having those vetoes happen has been really difficult to deal with. So those types of issues are what we're facing here in the last 2 or 3 days of this legislature. To be honest, this is the time of the session when many of the legislators are getting tired and edgy, and it'll be good to come home. But as always, thanks very much for watching this, and I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll try to answer any questions, comments, or concerns any of you have. Thanks again.